What's up, guys? I'm coming at you with the tier list for May 2022. This does include the ban list that we're getting on the 9th, so keep in mind a little bit of this is speculative. If you're watching this past the 9th and something is completely wrong, go ahead and call me out on it down below, but I think I'm going to do a pretty good job of putting things in perspective where they're going to fall. And this also takes into account the new diamond rank, because there are going to be less people in the diamond rank. You're probably going to see a lot of the same decks. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, we have a Despia. And so Despia is actually going to go in our tier 2. It's probably not going to stay at the top of tier 2, but we're going to put it in there. Despia has a lot of decent variants, and I did see it a lot in the previous season of Plat, and I actually saw a lot of decent ones. So I am glad that I was kind of right about that in the last tier list. Next, we're going to go ahead and get Dragon Maid. So Dragon Maid I'm actually going to put below Despia. I'm going to put Dragon Maid and Rogue because I've been playing a ton of different decks, and I just don't feel like Dragon Maid is really powerful enough to warrant anything higher. And most of the time they just end on like the ball, like the one link that summons something. And that's just not very strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in tier 3. Rockets I'm still putting in tier 1. It's probably not going to be at the top of tier 1. The reason I'm putting, well, not Rockets, but Dragon Link. I'm going to put Dragon Link at tier 1. The reason I want to put Dragon Link up there is because they are getting back 3 of the Darkness Metal Dragon. I don't think anybody would really run more than 2, but it does give the deck a little bit more power, and I feel like the deck has been pretty much untouched and still has the majority of its combos and can do just a lot of huge setup boards. Just like the next deck I'm going to put in tier 1, which is going to be Emancipator. So Emancipator is losing one of their cards. It's losing like the Scientist or whatever, the one that looks like greenish. That one, in my experience of playing the deck, isn't even the most important one, and so having that go to 2 probably isn't going to hurt the deck very much. It kind of got like a slap on the wrist. Next we have Pure Chaos. I don't see it, and most of the time if I do see it, it's with grass, but like Pure Chaos on its own, I don't really think it's viable. And strictly because I don't see any representation, I'm going to put it in tier 4. Next we have Blue Eyes. So Blue Eyes can go ahead and go into Rogue. And the reason I'm going to put Blue Eyes in Rogue is because I never see this deck outside of gold. Like, ever. And I just feel that if it was competitive enough to be played in higher tiers, it would have the representation. And because I don't see it, I feel like it's a gold or lower deck. Next we have Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragons I'm also going to put in Rogue, and I'm actually going to put them, I'm going to put them in front of Blue Eyes strictly because of the representation and because I feel like Cyber Dragons can kind of make better setup boards than pumping out Chaos Max and calling it a day. Next we have Charmers. So I feel like Charmers are somewhere between Rogue and not viable. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in the meme tier because they don't really fit. It's almost like it's a tier 3.5. I do feel like it's a cool toolkit and it's a fun toolbox, and in some like alternative formats it can make a splash. But in just a regular ranked, I don't think you're really going to be seeing it anywhere outside of gold. But at the same time, I think the deck is better than some of the things that I'm going to be putting in the tier 4, not viable tier. Next we have Altergeist. Multifaker, even at 1, Multifaker has been a hell of a drug. I'm going to put it at tier 3. I might bump it up to tier 2. FA can go in the meme. I don't feel like it needs to be in the not viable tier, but I don't feel like it can be in Rogue either. There's cool stuff you can do with FA, but I just don't really think it's good enough. So we have Dark Lord. So Dark Lord Despia is the main variant of Dark Lords you're going to see right now. And I feel like pure Dark Lord, probably closer to Rogue tier, but Dark Lord Despia, which is the only variant I'm really seeing represented, belongs in tier 2. So I'm going to put these two right next to each other. They're going to be buddies. Nurse Burn. Nurse Burn is not viable, but it is also a meme. So I'm going to put it in... This is a hard one. No, I'm going to put in tier 4, and a lot of people are saying, well, you can win with Nurse Burn. You absolutely can, and you will see it sometimes, but the deck is just too easy to stop, in my opinion, and it's too easy to blow out. So I feel like it belongs in tier 3. Dark Magician, you can go right next to Blue Eyes. I'm actually going to put it ahead of Blue Eyes, just because Dark Magician, I feel like, has more options. You can do rank 7 toolbox, you can do the Banish for the Dark Magic Circle, you can beam out Dark Magicians consistently with the Trap card. I just feel like it has more than Unga Bunga, Me Summon, Beat Stick, and Attack. Next, we're going to go with pure, like Black Rose Dragon with the Black Rose and Rose monsters. That's not viable. It has to go in tier 4. Next, we have D2D. So, a lot of people are going to be like, why are you putting this here? Well, D2D is going in tier 2. This deck with the right pilot can be extremely scary. With the wrong pilot, not so much. But the right pilot, it can be extremely scary to play against. It can do crazy things. Like, I'm serious. Look up a combo video for it. They just do crazy stuff. Next, we have Gene Raider. So Gene Raider, like pure Gene Raider by its own, I'm going to say maybe at the top of like the tier 4 non-viable. Gene Raider and Emancipator, which I'm going to make a deck profile for soon. That's a lot of fun to play together, but Gene Raider by itself, no. It ain't it, which makes me sad because I absolutely love it. Harpies. I actually made a Harpy Lady deck profile, may or may not be posted at this point in time. The deck is fun. I did get wins on it with wins with it in Plat last season. But the deck is definitely not viable. It can actually go up next to Gene Raider. I did beat some of the above decks with Harpy Ladies, but I got extremely lucky. I feel like Harpy Ladies just don't have enough right now. Next, we're into Grand Manju. Grand Manju, you can go ahead and be B tier. This deck can come out of left field and just pretty much snowball roll you. Like sometimes they'll remove a bunch of stuff, set it face down, you attack into it, and bam, you take a ton of damage. Or they just summon it and beat you down with it. The fact that some variants of the deck can infinitely recycle itself, or some variants of the deck can gain a gajillion life points, that's just what makes this so kind of difficult to pin down or to deal with. So for that reason, I feel like it does deserve to be tier 2, because even if like the pot of desires gets negated, you're still going to get the attack for this card, and that's just good. Next we have like the Gaia, Curse of Dragon, whatever deck, tier 4. It's bad. It's very bad. Endymion. I'm going to put Endymion next to Blue Eyes for now. I feel like maybe it could be tier 2 with the right pilot, but I also feel like the deck is easy to blow out. I actually do see quite a bit of Endymion representation in Plat, which is really weird, but I want to say like every 20 games or so, I do see like an Endymion deck, and most of the time they do things, whether they win or they lose, they still actually, like, even if they break, they still field a fair amount of things. So I feel like the deck deserves to be at least tier 3, because it does have representation and it is better than everything below it, in my opinion. Next we have Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper could be Rogue. Royal Tribute's a good card. Making your opponent discard all monsters in your hand, great effect. Necro Valley, still a good card. It can be tier 3. And I think putting it next to Endymion is fine. I know Phantom Knights are losing a card, but like Phantom Knight, PKBA, PK Fire, whatever you want to call it, Phantom Knight, BA, Chiranubi decks, I feel like they definitely deserve to be hanging off the ass end of tier 2. It's a really decent deck and it's very resilient, and losing the one Phantom Knight card is not going to kill the deck. Infernities. They are fun, they can do things, but just like Harpy Ladies, I think they have some problems. They are definitely better than Harpies. I feel like they could probably easily outplay Gene Raider, so I'm going to put them at the top of tier 4, maybe move them to dangle off the top of tier 3 by the time we're done with this. Cosmos. This deck is getting more and more representation from people. I played this to make a deck profile. I even played this after I made the deck profile. I kept the deck, I didn't dust it. Cosmos are fun. They can do a couple of like interesting things with how they tag in and out, and there's a couple of different ways you can build them. And I feel like having Dark Lady to negate effects, and Dark Destroyer, which floats, destroys something as a 3,000 body, it's just pretty good. I feel like it has some of what Blue Eyes is lacking, and the fact that a lot of the big boss monsters have more useful effects that can't be targeted and they float into something else. So I feel like it deserves to be in tier 2. Probably in the ass end of tier 2, but I feel like it definitely deserves to be tier 2. Next we have Rongo Bongo. Rongo Bongo can be in tier 2. 6 Samurais can make this. Everybody keeps saying 6 Samurais can make Rongo like instantly. 6 Samurais can do this, 6 Samurais can do that. Yes, I get it. And I get that Rongo is a good card. But when you have a bunch of other decks that are viable, that don't have as many pitfalls as things like 6 Sams or certain Rongo Bongo turbo decks, it might be better to play those decks, but you will occasionally see Rongo Bongo. Earth Toolbox. This is not getting a lot of representation. Strictly because of that, I'm going to put it in tier 2. I feel like people are sleeping on Earth Toolbox. I feel like if it gets more representation, it could be tier 1. Crawlers. I love crawlers, but they are in the not viable tier. They are so far in the ass end of the not viable tier. I'm putting them below Gaia. One of my favorite decks of all time. Too bad they suck. Dogmatica variants. Tier 2. Despia Dogmatica is pretty good. Dogmatica and just a couple other things I'm just seeing. I even think I saw Dogmatica Speedroid. Like, Dogmatica is a surprisingly decent variant to play for a lot of decks. Mayakashi. I know with the Bone Tower FTK they can do stuff, but you can play like one Ash to get out of that. I think I'll put him in Rogue. I will put him above GK, and I will put him above a Demian. And we'll just put him next to Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is like our measuring stick for how bad something sucks or not. Next we have Mech Knight. I'm putting Mech Knight in Rogue. I'm putting him above Blue Eyes. Their Link Monster is pretty good. The Column Shenanigans pretty decent. I think Mech Knight's definitely decent. Not the best deck, but they have some good representation. Next we have Kaijus, pure Kaijus. This is the meme. It is not viable because like you could always Kaiju your opponent's field and do crazy Kaiju things. And you can play that Kaiju Yosenju or whatever, where Kaijus are like still the star of the show. But I don't really feel like it's good enough to be Rogue, and I don't really feel like it's bad enough to be tier 4, so it's going to be in our meme tier. Plus, Kaijus are a meme. Next we have Ghost Tricks. Ghost Tricks are not viable. I love Ghost Tricks, but they're not viable. They're not even Rogue. They're just too easy to take a big old dump on. Next we have Infinitrack, which kind of goes with the Earth Toolbox, so I'm going to put them side by side. I feel like, realistically, if you're playing Infinitrack, you're probably playing Earth Toolbox. I don't even think you'd play like pure Infinitrack. It's pretty much always going to be Earth Toolbox. So I'm just going to count this one here as Earth Toolbox, like these two blocks. Next we have Mermals. Royals can be rogue. They can always still do their FTK thing. It's pretty much always going to exist. It might not always be good, but it's definitely going to exist. Which is the symbol I used for @Ignister? I want to put them up there next, and I think you guys are going to be like, what is he doing? But I'm going to be doing it whether you like it or not. Yeah, that's Ignister. Okay. So I'm going to put Ignister up in tier 1. And the reason I'm putting Ignister up in tier 1 below Dragon Link is because they can play the grind game really well. They can make an untargetable monster that has 4,000 or like 5,000 attack that can't be affected by other card effects. Not untargetable, but just unaffected by other card effects. They can do a lot of link ladder climbing. It's just a really decent deck with a really good grind game, and it's slowly getting more representation. I feel like it deserves to be in tier 1. Next we have Gem Knights, including Gem Knight FTK. 2 susceptible to hand traps, and if it's anything besides the FTK, it wouldn't be viable, but I'd say Gem Knight FTK can be under Rogue. Once again, I don't really think the deck is super great. Next we have Numeron. Numeron and Numeron FTK. Don't feel like it's quite tier 1. I do see a lot of it. I don't lose to it a lot. I say like maybe 40% of the time. And I feel like it can be up here with Earth Machine Toolbox. Monarchs. Don't see him at all. No representation. I'm going to say Rogue for now. Maybe that'll change in the future. ABC. I'm going to say with their boss monster being at 1 that they're not viable right now. I know you can do some stuff, but like if they manage to keep you from the Buster Dragon, like you're not going to do too much. Ojamas. Ojamas have to be a meme. Even if they're not viable, they got to be in the meme tier. They are a living meme. Phantasm Spiral. Rogue. Definitely Rogue. Not the worst Rogue deck either, and it's pretty much all rares, which makes it easy to play. Egyptian God Turbo, not viable. Scroll down a little bit. Exodia. And Exodia, like FTK Turbo. You can be next to Gem Knights. You're both pretty inconsistent. And you're both solitaire. Fossils. I've never seen fossils. I'm gonna put them in me. Fossils can be me. Evil Eye can be Rogue. I haven't seen enough of it, but I have seen combos and stuff for it. Gadgets, pure gadgets, not viable. Gadget control, long since died out, and ultimate offering is no longer a thing either. And even if it was, it'd probably be too slow. Cleefort, pay 8, feel great, not anymore. Probably gonna say tier 4 for not viable. Prank Kids, even with like, I believe they lost to Roxy's, was what was on the list. I know Prank Kids lost something. Prank Kids are still gonna get to be in A tier, and they're gonna get to be up there in tier 1 with Emancipator. Prank Kids can do some cool shit. This is Red Eyes, right? Red Eyes is a meme. Joey Wheeler. Next, we're gonna have Golden Lord, and we're gonna have Golden Lord and Eldritch and Friends be up here at the butt end of tier 1. Why I'm putting them there is because without the trap card, the Crusader or whatever, the one that can pop a card when Golden Lord's on the field, with that being at 1, the consistency for the deck is hurt pretty badly. The deck is not dead because it can just play other floodgates in the back row. It can just play more floodgates, but this gives it more of a chance to be blown out, less consistency, and like less searches basically. Like you can no longer remove the trap to help the consistency of your deck. So because of all that, I'm going to put it in tier 1, and I'm going to put it under @Ignister. I do feel like people are still going to play it. I do feel like the deck can still compete. but I feel like its consistency is hurt kind of bad by Conquistador being put to 2. Next, we got Invoked variants. I've been seeing some stuff with Invoked, and Invoked Despia, and Invoked this, that, and the other, and it's okay. It's not the worst. I'm going to put it at the top of tier 3. Actually, I'm going to put it behind Dragon Maid and Altergeist, but before Cyber Dragons. I feel like Invoked still has some representation and can still do stuff. Raid Raptors, not viable. They can make the big towers guy, but it can be tributed, can be evenly matched. It just doesn't have a ton going for it. Raid Raptor Tri variants maybe, but that involves Tribe Gauge. And we'll get to Tribe Gauge. So next we have Drytron. As my dog barks outside. Drytron. So Drytron, for this purpose of the tier list, I feel like we do not have a tier 0 anymore. I do feel like Drytron still probably going to be best deck. Emancipator might take that crown from it just because it can still make those crazy boards with Boral Savage Dragon and all that. But Drytron losing Ben 10 does not make the deck no longer playable. Ben 10 being at 1 sucks, but there are still other cards that Drytron can play. And I feel like it's going to still be highly represented, and it's still probably going to be best deck of the format. I could be wrong. It could get the crown taken by Emancipator. We'll see. But I don't feel like it's tier 0 anymore. In fact, I don't feel like there's a tier 0 deck in this format yet. Plunder Patrol, not viable. What's that thing? Buster Blader, not viable. For Hire, not viable. Galaxy Photon Dragons, not viable. Not enough representation. Samorg, not viable. 6 Samurai. I'll put you in Rogue. 6 Samurai can be in Rogue this time, strictly because of stuff like Rongo Bongo. I feel like 6 Sam being able to easily make Rongo Bongo is what really kind of puts it there. The rest of the deck as a whole is kind of eh. I can Link Climb at least. Speedroids. Speedroids with their new support, I'm seeing a surprising amount of. And they can do cool-ish stuff. It's kind of hard to place them because like when they go off with no hand traps, they go off and they make the board. But if they get interrupted, it kind of be hurt. I think I'm going to put them on the butt end of tier 2 right now, below Rongo. Gladiator Beast, not viable. Mathmech can be a rogue. Mathmech is okay. Like, it can do cyber shenanigans. Mutants can be rogue. Orchist, tier 2. Phantom Knight variants and all that with Sharanubi and all that, we covered it. Where do we put you guys? Yeah, you can go in tier 2 with your other buddy. We already covered Endymion shenanigans. Where did I put you? I believe I put you in 3. Yeah, we already covered Endymion shenanigans. Melfi, not viable. Even Melfi Tribe Gauge, just not good enough. Salamangreat, solid tier 2. I'll put you behind Mathmax. Pure Cyframe. Why am I seeing this played so much in Plat right now? I'm currently climbing to Diamond at the time of making this video and mid-Plat, and I played like 8 Cyframe decks. I don't know what is going on with this. I'm seeing a lot of representation. I am beating it pretty consistently. But like, the deck is, it's out there, it's happening. I don't feel like it's super great, but it can have a little bit, can be in Rogue this time around. Scrap Dino. I'm putting Scrap Dino together, basically, because Scrap by itself, But scrap Dino with some of the consistency hits to the top decks of the format, and Herald not really having like infinite negates now because Ben 10 is going to be hit. I'll put scrap Dino at tier 2. Shaddolls. I'm actually seeing a lot of Shaddolls as well, and Shaddol variants, and Shaddol Despia. Shaddol Despia has been surprisingly interesting. I don't know if this belongs in the bottom of tier 2 or at the top of tier 3. I do feel like it could clobber all the decks below it. So yeah, tier 2. Megalith, no representation for it, but it doesn't also really belong in the not viable because it is an okay-ish deck. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the meme tier. Can be in between the two, basically. Meme tier, we're just going to put it right there. It's between tier 3 and not viable. Springins. I tried to make this deck work. I tried like every variant of this deck. Maybe I'm just bad at playing it. This deck is terrible. We need Kit to come out before it can do things. Thunder Dragons. I'll put Thunder Dragon above Shaddol, but below Scrap Dino. Can be in tier 2. I feel like Thunder Dragons are a bit overlooked, but I do feel like the deck is actually very, very sound and pretty decent. Pretty consistent too. Gusto, definitely tier 4. Pure Ice Barrier, tier 4. Not viable. Pure Predaplant. You can be like the king of tier 4 next to Infinity. Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers basically lost nothing in the last list. And with the other decks being hurt, I feel like they can have a seat at the dinner table in tier 1. I feel like they're behind Eldritch, but they can be there. So, my man Guru. I love sub-tiers. I've been seeing it played more. I've been ripping through lower ranks and even some plant games like Toilet Paper with sub-tiers. I feel like the deck has a lot going for it, but it's not necessarily as good as the decks above it. Even if I can beat some of the decks above it, that might be more me as the pilot than the deck itself. So I'm going to put sub-tiers in tier 3. I'm going to put them at the top of tier 3 because everything below it, I have absolutely no problems just putting the hurt on with sub-tiers. In fact, I beat like 3 Cyber Dragon decks today with it, so can definitely at least say it's better than that one. True Draco. God, I hate this deck. I wish that True Draco would disappear forever. I'll put True Draco at tier 2 just because it's obscenely resilient, and if the Draco player gets what they need, they can just do enough shenanigans to play the grind game. Like, this deck will play the grind game, and even if I can beat it with sub-terrors, most of the time I just don't want to play against it. Like, it's bad enough I had to live through that format in the TCG, now I see it on Master Duel. Tunes. They're the meme. Pegasus is the meme. Spiral. This deck's doo-doo. I know people are going to tell me, oh, Spiral at least deserves to be tier 2. I get that comment on every one of my tier list videos, but you know what? I have not lost to it once in Master Duel, and I've ran some crazy shit for the channel. Like, deck's bad. Zootry. So, Zootry, I believe Tribegage is losing like a Fractal. I still think Zootry is decent. I feel like the deck is going to adapt. I actually feel like it deserves to be above Ignister, above Golden Lord, and above Sky Strikers, but below Rocket Link, or maybe on the same tier as Rocket Link. I definitely feel like Prank Kids, Emancipator, and Drytron are still going to be better than it. It's going to be really interesting to see how Drytron adapts. And Zectors, not viable. They need the rest of their support. It'll come to Master Tool in Master Tool in a jillion years. Pure Yang Zing, not viable. My buddy the Skull Servants, they are a meme. Aliens. I actually got a lot of plat wins with Alien Ogotic, which should be up on the channel soon as well. The deck definitely bricks. The deck is really hard to find good ratios for, but I have been able to beat everything in tier 1 and tier 2 with it. I don't think it's going to have a lot of representation. I feel like it can be at the very bottom of tier 3, and even that might be too generous. I do feel like being able to make all monsters your opponent summons be forced into defense and have their effects negated, or if they're a link, just have their effects negated because they can't be in defense. I feel like that ability is really good, and being able to just beat over bigger monsters using the A counters is really good. But with some of the consistency issues, they're definitely not one of the big boys. Weather, not viable. Super Quantal, not viable. Super Heavy Samurai, they are a meme. That deck will forever be a meme. Trains, lots and lots of trains. Trains are better than aliens. That's definitely true. In fact, trains... I'll put trains ahead of salad, but below mathematics. Let's see. Magispectors, not viable. Deck is bad. It's a lot of fun, but it's bad. So Fairy Tale Beat has been showing up and just doing things and playing like negate heavy options. That can be, even that's better than aliens. It could definitely be tier 3. It's rogue enough. Gradles, not viable. The deck is bad. I'll get trampled on by everything. Cardians, not viable. Gokeys. I don't think I'm ever gonna see this. It can go in the tier 4, not viable, next to Invernities. Sure, somebody could probably play it and do very well with it, but I really don't think you're going to see a representation, and there are much better decks that float out there than this. Tribriage, even with Fractal being put to 2, I feel like Tri and Tri variants still deserve to be up in tier 1 next to the Rocket Lung dude. 10E and 10E variants and 10E Ballpark, which I'm still stealing games off of people with. I feel like it should be in tier 3. And 10E, just the different decks you can do with it. It can do a lot as an engine. And so I'm going to put 10E variants up in tier 3 above Cyber Dragons and Dark Magicians. Actually, we're also going to put Mech Knights above Cyber Dragons and Dark Magicians too. Yeah, I don't put less than 10E because Rainbow Dragon, Crystal Beast on deck, definitely not viable. Pure Zombies, Zombie Shenanigans, Zombie Toolbox. I feel like they are going to be better than Trains, not as good as Cybers. Let's actually move Six Samurai down as well. Shiranui, pure Shiranui. That can go up next to Zombies. I mean, if you're playing pure Zombies, you're probably running some of the Shiranuis. I do feel like the Shiranui deck might be a little bit more consistent than like the Zombie Doomlord deck and can do kind of like the same things. Reptilian, actually tried to make that. The deck is terrible. Don't run it. Zeus Turbo, that can be a meme. Heroes. Heroes. I'm going to put Heroes under Grin Manju and under the Phantom Knight variants. I'm going to put them above Cosmo. And Heroes are losing the one Destiny fusion, but by the time we get Destiny Phoenix Enforcer, whatever his name is, it's going to be great. But Heroes, like pure Heroes as they are now, I do feel like they could beat the decks below it. I do also feel like the decks below it could beat Heroes. It's a real hard one to rank, but I also still feel like it's better than Cosmo But maybe not better than Rongo Bongo Turbo. Let's actually put Rongo Bongo, yeah, above there and put Heroes there. Hazy Flame, not viable. Counter Trap Fairy is not viable. Zephyra. Zephyrs can be a meme. Perform Pal, Perform Mage, it can be a meme. Pure Destiny Heroes. Without their boss monster fusion, they're kind of like the king of the turds and not viable. Wind Witch as an engine or as a full deck, I feel like meh. I do feel like it can do a little bit more than the stuff below it in tier 4, so I'm going to put it in the meme tier. The meme tier is just kind of stuff that doesn't fit, or stuff that's so like irreverent in the community that if you play against somebody, you'll probably get like a good laugh. So meme tier is kind of between 3 and 4. Pure Windup, not viable. Pure Jirac, not viable. Virtual World. They still got the True King guy. So I'm going to go ahead and put them... They also are a little bit resilient as well. And I feel like just because they still have True King, they're better than Ignister. So I'm going to put them right there. Trying to think like what Avalanche could really even do to it at this point. We already ranked the Galaxy Eye, so I'm just going to put it right there. World Chalice, Poo Poo, Dark World. Danger Dark World can be a meme. Dark World by itself would be more tier 4. But like if it's a danger variant, I put it a meme. But like regular, just by itself, Dark World, tier 4. Unchained. I feel like Unchained is a meme. Witchcrafter, meme. Dynamist. Dynamists are going to be in tier 4. Morphtronic. So it is a good sequel toolbox. I know in like real life in TCG it won a regional somewhat recently. Or placed or topped or whatever. I saw the deck list for it. It was cool. I'm going to put it not viable. I just don't see it doing enough. And too susceptible to hand traps. So the Cyberstein and Friends FTK that uses the Ignites. It's easy-ish to stop with hand traps, but it definitely still does get me occasionally. It's consistent enough. I'm going to put it behind Blue Eyes. Actually, no, I'm going to put it ahead of Blue Eyes strictly based on representation. But behind Cyber Dragon. Trap Tricks. I see a ton of Trap Tricks. Can definitely be in tier 3. I don't think it's super great, but I do feel like it's better than the inconsistent Mayakashi Bone Tower FTK. And I feel like it can kind of like be on par with Blue Eyes. Like the decks only do one thing, if they do one thing well. Battle Wasps, tier 4. Mech Knights, already ranked them, so I'm just putting that there for now. Ancient Gear, tier 4. They do have the out of left field OTK if they go second, but deck is not very good. Infernoids, they can be king of tier 4. Dinosaurs, we already ranked dinosaurs along with the Scrap Dino variant. So I'm just going to put them together. Where did he go? Yeah, you guys go up there in tier 2. Warrock. I'm going to use the Warrock one for like Rockstun, like pure Rockstun with like Cookie Maroos, maybe some Emancipator thrown in there, Block Dragon shenanigans. I'm just saying like rock archetype as a whole, like some sort of rock deck. Probably in tier 2. Emancipator definitely tier 1 though. Blackwings, tier 4. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's the tier list. Let me know down below if you agree with me, disagree with me. Whatever else, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you did not like the video, give it a dislike. And before we call it a day, I just need to let you guys know about my sponsor. Yes, that is right. I actually have a sponsor for this video. You can use the link below and the code SirLargeGaming to get 10% off of Dubby Energy. I personally love most of their flavors. Their new peach mango flavor is awesome. It gives me more energy than regular, like traditional energy drinks, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee, so I'm a huge fan. Anyway, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.